Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely stream deck. For more information about the stream deck, the link is in the description below.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Eike Sky, and you are joining me tonight for the Apex Online Racing Assetto Corsa Formula 3 League. Alongside me, as always, for this season, we have the venerable Mally Baćo, who is joining me in the comm box. How are you doing, Mally?
Hello. Doing fantastic. Good evening to everyone, and welcome back to the AOR Formula 3 in Assetto Corsa. Welcome to the Grand Prix of Great Britain at the ever so legendary track called Silverstone. Don't know if you heard about it, Ike.
I can't say I've heard of it before. It's only a few miles away from me, actually. I don't think it's very well known. It's it used to be an airfield during World War II, and after that it was converted to a race course with some fairly basic modifications. A little known series known as Formula 1 has come here a couple of times in its 50-year plus history.
Well,
man.
not only that, but some days ago we had the 70th anniversary of the first race of Formula 1, which actually occurred on this very track. So, great piece of history, great piece of heritage, and I'm sure it will serve for a good race tonight.
Absolutely. As always, the Assetto Corsa boys, no, the AOR boys are and girls. No, we're missing Oscar tonight. She is not able to be with us, unfortunately. So instead, we are going to be just the boys tonight, and we'll just have to make do with them for the night. Come on, there we go. Unfortunately, with the tools that we've got at our disposal, the first couple of laps of qualifying can be quite challenging. But there you go. We will have eyes on Danny Fernandez, one of the more dominant drivers, very early out onto the track. Coming around Lovefields now. A slightly different spectacle from what we had from the weekend with the Assetto Corsa Competizione 6 hours endurance race that we ran, and I casted the entire thing. Just in case you thought I was crazy, yes, you're right. But Mally, you actually raced in it, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Sadly though, or not so sadly, in Tier 2. So you could not see me during the stream, but I surely had a ton of fun, and I just can't wait for the next endurance race to be organized.
Yes.
I would have loved to drop with you on a short commentary stint, but actually I was left out without an internet for half of the race, so I had to spend all my mobile data trying to watch my teammates Twitch just to have an idea of what's going on. And we were supposed to start in P11, and I go into his Twitch, and then I see us in P45, 3 laps down, and it's only been 10 minutes of the race, and I was like, guys, come on, you can't do this to me.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's mad. Oh
man,
that
really is mad.
Of all the things to go wrong, that's insane. But alas, that is not tonight. Tonight we have a very different focus. These low-slung aero Formula 3 cars, which we have been covering now. For the last 2 seasons, we've had these V6 Formula 3 cars, which were modded in. The link will be in the forum, which I should have put in the description below, which I didn't. But yes, it's a slightly different spectacle to the hulking GT3 cars by comparison that we were witnessing at the weekend. A slightly different format as well, not only from what we've seen at the weekend, but also in the previous Formula 3 races. Tonight is just going to be a single race. Talk us through the format tonight, Mally.
Yeah, well, the first thing you mentioned, it's going to be a bit different than what we're used to, and especially than what we were used to for the 6-hour race which occurred during the weekend. So we will not be soaking in the rain, and that's for the start, because of course, Assetto Corsa limitation. But we are replicating some British weather with 18 degrees Celsius temperature and a bit of a crosswind of 14 kilometers per hour.
Yep, that sounds like
So
Silverstone.
yeah, it's going to be tricky for drivers to get in shape quickly because of these air fluctuations. I mean, if I was doing this all by myself, I would even drop some bigger changes like wind gusts and so on, just to see how drivers will cope with this challenge. But jokes aside, we also have this new format which occurs, I believe, 3 times throughout this season, and this is the first race that, the first week that we will have actually just one race of 60 minutes duration. So what's going to happen tonight is we will see pit stops for the first time. I mean, scheduled pit stops.
Yep.
So time to place some strategy in the mix. So undercuts, overcuts, we didn't see that so far.
No.
We were only flat out for half an hour. But now it's time to see how drivers will actually plan their pit stops. So do you go with, let's say, a full tank of fuel from the beginning and just sip a slight amount in the pits, sorry, or would you like to go with let's say a 50-50 load and try to be at the minimum weight of all time? Maybe. I doubt this will happen, but maybe some drivers even push for a 2-stop.
Well, yeah. Well, it's a difficult question, especially around Silverstone as well, because there are some big stops. They will be using the Formula One grid, so they are. I've got eyes on Dani Fernandez at the moment coming through the first sector, and then to this massive stop at Village Hairpin. I'm not going crazy, am I? Yeah, it's Village Hairpin.
Well,
which
you
is
know your Silverstone.
Oh yeah, I've been calling out names the entire for most of Saturday. I should know the track by now. But yeah, that massive stop down at Village is going to cause some big problems when it comes to race strategy, because as you say, there are going to be people who are running very, very heavy. There are going to be people that are going to be running significantly lighter and trying to balance all of those cars and trying to make up positions. If you've had a bad qualifying and you decide you're going to run light to try and get that advantage, you're going to be struggling. You're going to be struggling quite a bit, as you can't get past cars, man. You may be able to run a much faster lap without fuel on board, but you can't get past cars if they're in your way. So we're going to have to see some very patient and very conservative driving in the early stages of this 60-minute race. Qualifying yet to be completed. There's still 8 minutes remaining, but the familiar names of Alex Torregrossa and Dani Fernandez have taken the top of the timesheet so far. Behind them, a very familiar name to the grid is Tim Eintema. Very good to see him actually up towards the top of the grid. Does that mean that we may actually be seeing a better race performance from Eintema this time out?
Well, I hope so. There have been some shake-ups to the grid. We had 2 drivers pull out. If you remember from the first 2 races, we had Dennis and Julian Rees. So due to their school obligations, they have pulled out, and this is what will happen all across the motorsport, because things are getting back in normal shape all over Europe. So with this, I think we may see some shake-up in the grid, possibly new drivers, possibly mixing tier 1 and tier 2 into one big tier. Who knows? What I really want to point out at this moment, because we don't have many action, I would like to apologize to Sean Purcell. last week I called him a Brit for some reason, but he's Irish. So, Sean, if you're listening to this stream while you're driving or listening afterwards, I'm really sorry about this, and I will never repeat it. But let's cut short.
He does have the Irish flag. I'm afraid you're out of luck there, as that apology has obviously given Purcell some kind of incentive to drive quicker, as he goes half a second slower than the Spanish pair, but a second faster than anybody else, including Eintema. Really, this track is getting better as the cars run round. This is what we like to see, and it's one of the things that we do enjoy about Assetto Corsa, is the track does get better over time, and the more the drivers stay out, the longer they stay on the grid pounding around the laps, the better the line is going to get rubbered in, and the faster the times will get. Hopefully we'll be seeing the fastest laps coming at the end of this session as Purcell goes across the old pits.
Yeah, if someone has to break the Spanish duel, then I will continue apologizing to Sean Purcell to give him some tailwind on the hanger straight he is coming right now too, going through Maggots and Beckett's, and then correct me if I'm wrong, Chapel?
Yeah.
I thought it was Cops, so I have to learn my Silverstone again.
No, Cops is the one.
Turn one.
Yeah, that's it. Chapel Curve deceivingly. As Sean gets a massive lock up. That's a shame. I'm sure he was going faster there. He's going straight back out again, so we'll keep eyes on him for the time being. Actually, Eintema's doing a warm-up lap. Blakemore is just coming on to. He's just come out the pit. I think he's just come out the pit.
Sarv is on a decent lap. Looks like to be challenging Tim Eintema for P5 at this moment. Let's jump on board with him for commentator lap. So he's now coming through the chicane and a big acceleration on the right corner. Easy on the tires there, not to have some slides. Then turn 1 is flat out in Formula 3 cars, and it's lovely to see. Going through turn 2 to Village, a hairpin, we will see some of the action here. Tight onto the curb, then open into a left hairpin, which is, I believe, called the loop.
Yep, that's right.
And opening up to a left kink, which will be tricky to get right in some occasions. Then going through the Wellington straight into Brooklands, car braking, left corner over the curb, beautifully executed by Sar, a bit of a moment, and as he goes into the right 180 degree called the Brooklands, and going through the old start finish straight, which is also used today in MotoGP and GT3 races, fast to the Cops. Now I believe it can be taken without a lift, but Sar does lift as he takes the full track width, so maybe I'm wrong. And then coming into the ever so legendary Maggots and Beckett, so it's left, right, and then left with a brake. Need to have a clean exit, a clean run through the right-hander, as it opens up to the hanger straight, which will see a lot of moves, a lot of overtakes happen throughout the race. Then a hard braking into the right-hander, so this braking point is a really good overtaking spot, and coming into this new pit complex into left slow one, right slow one, and full throttle to open up through the right-hander, which will be tricky with tire wear, and that will be the end of the Silverstone Grand Prix.
And thank you very much, Mally, for an
the end of the lap. Please stay here, do not go. It's not the end of the Grand Prix because it hasn't even begun yet.
It's the end of the Grand Prix track. There you go.
Yeah, thank you.
I think I've worked out what I don't like about Club. It's because they've squared it off to make room for the pit complex. Before, Club used to have a really nice flowing right-hander, and now they've kind of kinked it off.
Yeah, but what I like about that pit complex is that it resembles sort of an airplane, and really once you're driving from from Stowe into the chicane, you really see that building on the right look like an airplane taking off, but who is also flying around track? It's Sarv. He is improving on Tim Eintema and Ben Blakemore, so currently he's occupying P4. Can he challenge Sean Purcell? I doubt at this moment, but time will tell us, as drivers should all be out on their outlaps now for the final push, final try, and trying to get the best possible spot to commence this 60-minute race.
Yep, absolutely. Purcell goes faster with a 1:44.829, but still 0.4 of a second off of the Spanish pairing of Torregrossa and Fernandez. Grief. It's not Fernando, it's Fernandez, isn't it? Yeah, it is Fernandez. Good grief.
Yeah.
Every time I have to second guess myself. Sarv goes quicker with a 1:45.1. Bit of a gap.
Daniel Fernandez is in the pits, so he pulled out from the qualifying, but at this moment Alex Torregrossa is having a better run through Sector 2. He is matching his compatriot in Sector 1, and now we can focus on him going through, once again, what's the name, sorry?
This is Stowe. Cops, sorry. That's
Cops.
Cops.
Oh, come on.
Sorry. Stowe's the next one. Then
Yeah.
Maggots through, and then is that first right left, and then this is Beckett through here, this long right-hander, and then onto Chapel Curve. Chapel Curve, where you really should be able to put the power down, but in the GT3 cars especially, if you're only if you've got the previous line right. And that is now the end of the session.
Yeah,
15
so
minutes
Alex
flying by.
Torregrossa went purple through Sector 2, but only for Blitz, as Sean Purcell is purple in Sector 2 and has a 2/10 better time, so maybe a good braking can see him challenge even for pole. But now we are watching Alex Torregrossa come through the start-finish straight. Can he take the pole? He takes the provisional pole, and Sean Purcell is also coming through the start-finish straight. No, he can't. He does improve, only 2/10 away from Daniel Fernandez, but remains in P3. And I don't know if anyone else is setting a respectable lap time at this moment. No, it seems that we are over in the quali. So Alex Torregrossa and Daniel Fernandez locking out the front row once again.
How is Eintema looking?
How are these guys tops? Come on.
How
Tim
is
Eintema currently in P7 and doesn't look like improving through
That's a
Sector
shame.
2, but he still has this lap, so a better run through Sector 3 can maybe see him even challenge for P5, but he's only matching his best lap time at this moment, and he needs to improve by nearly 3/10 to try to challenge into P5. So brake on to the left-hander. He does make a 3/10 advantage there as he opens up to the main straight, and he's losing a bit of time. Where does he put himself? Into P5? Yeah,
beautiful?
so barely, but still deserved, may I say?
Yes.
And not surprising. So the Spaniards have locked out the front row once again, with Sean Purcell taking P3, and a very good qualifying run from Sarv into P4. After that, not so top performance in first two races, but Sarv is on a good run, and maybe he can challenge for at least a podium. Then we have Tim Eintema into 5th as a very late escape from P7. Into P6 we have Ben Blakemore. Then we have Denis Jurnic. Clive Allen into P8. Kid 462 in P9 seems to have disconnected, so we might have only 10 starters.
That's a shame.
Sam Butters into P10, and Mislav Bago did not take a lap and will start from the back of the grid into P11. So seems like we have only 10 race starters, but you and I both know that even with 10 drivers at the grid. We saw some very, very cool races.
Yes. Well, the something that we've been very fortunate to have this time out is that the let me see if I can get the actual. Come on, there we go. The two leading drivers in the 29 and the 30 in Fernandez and Torregrossa have been very respectful and very fierce with their fighting as we get some lights on screen already. Fantastic to see the drivers getting ready nice and quick. We'll have to have that conversation, wait till later. As 6 lights are on our screens, they go out and the drivers are away. The 30 car gets away cleanly, but the 29 is nowhere near as clean off the line as Saab spins.
Is spun off by Ben Blakemore. I believe that's a touch from the rear. Saab perhaps went slowly into turn 1, and Ben Blakemore collected him. But now it's all eyes on Sean Purcell. Can he make the lunge onto Daniel Fernandez to try and split the Spanish duo and actually have some say in this race and maybe challenge for the win? At this moment, he is he seems to be attacking. You can see the different line through each and every corner, but still needs to gain some time, as Alex Torregrossa already sets a really good gap to Daniel Fernandez. So can Sean Purcell overtake Daniel Fernandez? Daniel Fernandez goes wide a bit.
Yep, and that's all the advantage that he needs to keep that extra mile or two to push him back up to his teammate. Through Maggots and Beckett's for the first time, absolute poetry from these Formula 3 drivers, knowing exactly where the balance of their cars are. Our eyes remain on Sean Purcell for the time being, as this is going to be a massive push. We know that Fernandez and Torregrossa are not our teammates, but they aren't necessarily playing for a team fight here. Both of them want to have that championship title underneath their names, and they want to have that accolade. And it's that fighting which Sean Purcell needs to stick around for. He needs to just hit his mark, stay with the two, because it's when they start fighting that he's going to have an opportunity to pounce. However, Fernandez looks like he is struggling through the final sector, dropping back into the clutches of Purcell for the time being as they come around for this second lap. Whether it's running in dirty air or whether it's just the out-and-out pace of Fernandez versus Torregrossa tonight, we have yet to see. But now back onto the Wellington Straight for the second time of asking, and the gap remains the same. If this is going to be what it's going to be like for the entire hour, then I am not complaining.
Yeah, so you already see that the top 3 have separated, and into a separate cluster they are. Luckily, Saab did not pull into pits, and it seems that he is challenging Ben Blakemore very soon to get into P9, but it's all eyes onto Sean Purcell, and perhaps his cockpit cam can show us some good fighting and to see where he is. But at the moment it seems that at the rear we have Clive Allen challenging Sam Butters as they go onto the hangar straight. So Clive Allen is looking forward to step maybe a late braking on the inside of Clive Allen. So he goes for the inside. Does he do late braking? They go side by side into Chapel, and Clive Allen seems to back off a bit and let Sam Butters through, because it's an hour race. It's not one on lap 1, turn 1. So if he's not losing too much time behind Sam Butters, he doesn't really need to attack early on and to go all out.
No,
just to.
And as they have that, as the pack is so close, there's not really any reason to take any big dives yet for Allen. He once he's gotten into some clear air.
Sean Purcell is side by side with Daniel Fernandez. He's attacking through the hangar straight, as Daniel Fernandez has that moment through the left hairpin. So Sean Purcell has a better run through hangar straight. He doesn't go for the lunge, but he really made a move to get his place in the mirrors of Daniel Fernandez. So Fernandez knows that Sean Purcell is there, and I believe Alex Torgrosa does as well. So this is a really, really good fight for, well, this is, including the strategy, this is a fight for the win, actually.
Absolutely.
So if everyone keeps consistent, if everyone keeps their heads down, and we can see some good fights come the race end, but at this moment, it looks like neither of the three are pushing really much.
No,
that's a
massive
spin by Sam Butters. That's
Oh.
a spin by Sam Butters, and Clive Allen
Oh, and the purple car
barely goes through, and Mislav Bago goes out, collected by Ben Blakemore as Sar proceeds into P8. Wow, that will be an interesting Stewards Empire to see actually what happened there, and I believe we have someone stuck in the gravel there. Is it?
Oh, they actually.
Sam Butters?
Butters. Butters is actually stuck. It was Butters that actually. It was Butters that actually initiated that entire accident. I really wish that we could get a. That's a retirement for him. I really wish we could get a replay up of that, because This is the problem with that Maggots and Beckett's series of corners. Is it's so easy to just get it slightly wrong, and suddenly you're out of line for the next corner. And especially if you're being breathed on like Butters was by Alan there. There's nothing that Alan's done wrong. All he was doing was pressuring the car in front. But he gave Butters the pressure that he overshot the first corner, and trying to maintain the speed as much as possible, tried to turn in where he normally would, but obviously you can't do that. There's a massive sausage curb on the inside which caught him out, nearly flipped the car and spat him backwards onto the track. And now Sean Purcell is going for second place. It is Fernandez who caved to the pressure, and now the white and blue number 7 is into second place. How long for, we don't know, as we know Fernandez is a very, very good driver in traffic and very good at overtaking.
Fernandez had a moment going out of the Brooklands hairpin. He went too wide, clipped some sand, and Sean Purcell just waited for this. He didn't have to lunge, dive, or do any sorts of shenanigans. He just had to wait for a mistake, and I'm sure he will wait for a mistake from Alex Torgrosa, as he will look to possibly close the gap.
Sean goes wide through Stowe, and now didn't lose him any time at least, which is good to see. But that is going to be something that Daniel is going to be waiting for, looking for as well in return, just as Sean was looking for him previously. The gap to Fernandez, though, is almost up to half a second already, as Junzik goes past Eintema in the braking. That's a devilish move from the 33 car. Jusznik's obviously found his groove with that Formula 3 car, managed to make a massive dive.
Yeah, the Croat seemed to have a good run through practice. I was watching his lap times, and he can surely be a dark horse in this one. Now he's got past Tim Eintema. Seems that he was obviously quicker than him, so maybe, but this is a hypothesis, maybe he can actually join the top 3. It's not a big gap, some 4-5 seconds, I'm not sure.
Yep, it is 3 seconds at the moment.
So 3 seconds, it's not much, it's nothing.
Especially if these dudes start getting into each other as well.
So let's see, sector 2 times. Sean Purcell goes quickest, 46.7 compared to Alex Torgrosa, who does a 47.0. And we will be mostly looking at sector 3 times, because Jusznik made an attack on Tim Eintema, and so their lap times are not really, call it, valid to see the real gap. So coming through sector 3, Daniel Fernandez and Sean Purcell are matched, and both a tenth quicker than Alex Torgrosa. And Denis Jusznik is also have the same time as well as Team Eintema, who is a 10th.
So
down.
Purcell is going for the lead. I'm so sorry. He's just got a wheel up the inside, and that is a bit of politeness from Toro Rosso that allowed him to even look at that. But he is super confident going into that new section with the tight hairpins. Don't know if that is a downforce setting or what, but that number 7 is looking seriously planted as they come across the start-finish straight. And now down into Brooklands, accelerating up, not even changing gear, and that 7 is so tight through Luffield and out to the rumble strips on the outside. There's just a little bit more grip on that 7 than the 30 and the 29 around him.
Let's see their arrow through Chapel as they're going now through. So let's see how each of these cars perform. Spanish may have lower downforce for better straights, but what you need with Silverstone is everything. You need low downforce, you need high downforce, you need tight turn-in, you need good high tire pressures to keep the speed up. So it's a mix of everything, as Sean Purcell is now under attack by Daniel Fernandez. Daniel Fernandez goes a bit wide, but he does a switcheroo. Can he go for the late lunge into the left-hander? He goes for it. Oh, it's a late braking, it's a lock up, and nearly a touch with Sean Purcell, but both have managed to escape this without any incidents, as well, they did have their bad lap times, as Dennis Yuzhny goes purple through sector 3, so 3.5 seconds separating them.
Yep, Eintema goes fastest for him as well. Sarv doing his fastest lap time at 1:46.9 as well. So the drivers are all really getting into their groove of things now.
As Sarv is approaching Clive Allen, possibly even challenging for P6. So based on previous lap times, Sarv really has the edge here and can actually push to take that place. But joining Team Eintema, I doubt at this moment. The gap is more than 10 seconds, so we probably won't see. We have Sam Butters back on track, actually.
Oh, good. That's good to see.
But he is 2 laps down on everyone, so good luck with that. I can only say, as of yet.
It depends. I don't know. He's 2 laps down. But how many people are going to have more accidents throughout this race as the fatigue sets in and as the pace dithers? This might be what he's thinking is he's had an accident at the start, but he's now made a pit stop. If he runs really lean and if he fuel saves like a boss, then there's a possibility there could be some points in there for him.
Well, points are here for everyone as we only have 10 race starters, so
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
For points, you just need to finish, but
and that's what he's thinking.
Who gets the top 16 points? That's the question, and we don't have an answer yet. So Sean Purcell, purple through sector 2 once again, setting a 145.9er to 0.
And once again,
the only driver to go below 146 at this moment. So he seems to be really attacking, as Alex Torgosa has a slight lock-up going into the village. As we go through the loop, you can really see Sean Purcell is taking the tighter line through there.
Yeah.
But I want you to take a look at Maggots and Beckett's. You can really see the difference, as both Spaniards go over the curbs and much more faster on the entry. And then you have Sean Purcell, who is going deeper into the corner and cutting it short for a better exit. And he does it for both Maggots and Beckett's. So it's really interesting to see drivers taking different tactics, different techniques, just to get the best lap time. You know, that perfect lap we're all looking for.
Yep, and bearing in mind that these drivers were separated in qualifying by 0.2 of a second.
So you can now see how Alex Torgrosa turns in early to smash that curb, and basically Sean Purcell is avoiding it to find some better turn-in speed, or not to upset the car with his with bumps. But he seems to be falling ever so slowly into clutches of Daniel Fernandez more than he is actually pursuing Alex Torgrosa. Now we know Spaniards. We know they swapped places, even though they actually say they didn't, but I highly doubt it. we know these guys are actually doing the best teamwork I've ever seen in sim racing. So, could Alex Torgrosa overslow his car through to slow down Sean Purcell? Oh, he goes a big moment over the sausage. Luckily, he keeps his cool, but he is under attack of Daniel Fernandez going out through the Wellington Straight. They're really close. Sean Purcell goes defensive, goes to the inside line, and Daniel Fernandez is following him to find that toe.
Whoa.
As Fernandez has a big moment of oversteer, barely keeps it on the road, but very good.
That
very
was
good piece of driving. So
yep, that was some fantastic driving. Yep, well played. Very, very, very well driven by Fernandez. Again, as we've seen a few times, his car control has been second to none, and now, despite that mistake, which again is a side effect of running that lower downforce, is not being able to follow the higher downforce cars through those mid-speed corners, which is exactly what Brooklands is. It's a mid-speed corner. You need to have that downforce to be able to put the car into the apex, and if you can't get it there, you just got to slow the car down until it does. But now Purcell being unleashed back, able to attack Torregrossa. Torregrossa goes wide through Stowe and now up towards Vale on the brakes, and this is where they will be even for the time being, relying on the mechanical traction of the tyres rather than the wings that develop the downforce to hold the cars to the road. Now up through this new section through Abbey Farm, you'll see the number 7 car is much more happy to swing to the outside to make that corner as narrow, as wide as possible. Just through this first sector, the gap that's the amount that he closes up is noticeable. Now onto the Hangar Straight. This is where Wellington Straight. Sorry, this is where Torregrossa will have the advantage, but this is the only place where he has the advantage is on these long straights. Coming down into Brooklands again, and you can see the 30 car is just ever so slightly more nervous than the 7. Sean is able to apply the throttle so much easier than Torregrossa in front. Now around past the old pits. Shame we don't use them anymore. Actually, I think they use them for the touring cars as well. But a much kinder first corner than what we see in the Formula 1 grid. And now coming through the winding sections of Maggots and Beckett's yet again, you can see the gap visibly closing for the number 7 car. Now right tucked up underneath the wing. This is the low drag setup that is keeping Torregrossa ahead at this point, with that 7 tucked up underneath in the downforce. But he's closer again this time. Purcell goes wide, trying to maintain that bit of speed for this last straight that we have. And now battle is rejoined between the 30 and the 7 as they come round on to the start-finish line again for what I can't remember is what lap. I can't remember what lap we're on. Good grief, because this is a time-limited race. But through the first sector again, and the number 7 is close enough. Is it close enough to make a lunge? It doesn't look like it. Discretion being the better part of valor for now. The 7 nailing the racing line, nailing the braking points, and just getting on that 30 car and making sure that he can't shake him. And just to throw into the mix, there's pit stops to come yet.
Yeah, exactly. But these guys are so matched at this moment. The gap on the last lap was second to none.
As the 7 goes wide, trying to get the throttle down even earlier than he could before. Now this could be an opportunity for him going up towards Cops, potentially with that overspeed that he'd earned himself by taking the different line through Luffield, and didn't work this time round, but that was just an experiment. Purcell's got time here. He's got 41 minutes to make this pass, and that's the only pass he has to make. Down through this section where I dread to think how much of a nightmare Torregrossa is having compared to Purcell, through Maggots and Beckett's. Now back onto the main straight, and that gap is closer yet again really was Fernandez in the mirrors of Purcell that was
This
keeping
is really
him
close.
that was keeping him at bay. Torregrossa doesn't bother going defensive. There's no point at the moment. It's too early in the race to even bother. If Purcell was going to make the move, he was going to make the move, but that's not going to happen this time around. They are as close as they've ever been, though. 7 on the brakes, thinking about having to take evasive action into the Vale chicane. And this is going to be a race-long battle. Both of these drivers have proven themselves to be the utmost of professionalism. As my FPS just dies for a couple of seconds.
It seems that Sean Purcell is much more confident on braking than Alex Torregrossa. You can actually see in braking zones how much Sean Purcell is actually gaining on Alex Torregrossa. But what's really challenging in that scenario is you're coming too close to the driver ahead, and then once of a sudden you start thinking about how you're going to avoid that driver. So this is really on the edge. Meanwhile, we have some grid updates as Sarv has dropped P8, possibly due to a mistake in sectors 1 and 2. He had a fight with Clive Allen. He went ahead of Clive Allen, and Clive Allen made a mistake, but Clive Allen is now into P6 and doesn't seem to be challenged nearly as soon as Alex Torregrossa and Sean Purcell are going to have their off. But what's really interesting is how quickly Daniel Fernandez recovered from that mistake, and he is setting purple sectors each time out, and he is actually looking to set the fastest lap, possibly even less than 145.5, which is currently some 7/10 up on what the top 2 are doing. So nothing's over yet. Nothing's over. No. So
it goes to show as well the power of some clean air. Fernandez does a 145.517 to go fastest overall so far. And
but Alex Torregrossa also did a very good lap, 145.6. Also his best lap time. He was also on the fastest lap, but then Daniel Fernandez joined the mix and said, "No, you don't.
Yeah,
we are teammates, we are friends, but no, you don't."
Yep. It all changes when you get behind the steering wheel and get out onto that grid. You are, at the end of the day, drivers, and you're driving to win. Teammates come second to racers, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately. Fortunately for us.
Well, who are we? Or who
fans.
are you?
Fans, commentators, casters, the people who are actually watching. The spectacle of the show is made so much better by these true drivers, these proper racers who are interested, yes, in the team's interest, and they want to make sure that the team gets the points. But when everything's said and done, you still want to win. You still want to be the number 1 driver. You want to be the one that ends up holding the cup come the end of the race and the end of the season as well. And to think that Danny and Alex are anything other than racers would be a massive, massive misstep as they come down into the final sector. Purcell is still holding on to the back of Torregrossa. He's not letting go of that Formula 3 car at all. Just out of interest, what is Purcell's lap times like? As he goes massively wide. Wow.
He seems to be on... he does a 45.7. So does Alex Torregrossa, Daniel Fernandez 45.8. So they're all pretty matched. And the 4th driver currently, Denis Južnić, just nearly set his best lap time with 146.1. So it really seems that these top 3 will not be challenged come the end of the race, but who knows what's being hidden in the pit stop. Let's just not forget at this moment, Sean Purcell is on a medium compound tire, while Alex Torregrossa and Daniel Fernandez are on a heavy, hard. It's also age, but it's not that one. I'm sorry. So once we come to the pits, we don't have this F1 rules so that you have to drive 2 different compounds. You just need to make a pit stop. So maybe Alex Torgos and Daniel Fernandez will be looking at bringing it home on the same set of tires, if not putting a soft set of tires in, let's say, the last third of the race.
Yeah.
But this is all. This is all.
Here's a really silly
just thinking
question.
about it, thinking out loud.
Yeah. Speaking of thinking out loud, do you think the Spanish pair are running heavy on fuel? Do you think they're going to go into the pits and just splash a little bit in at a point where it seems comfortable they can both do so, and that's going to be them to the end? Or do you think they're actually running to some kind of fuel stint, like they've fueled maybe to 2/3 of the race, as Purcell is looking as close as he's ever looked coming through Abbey? Closes.
Yeah, well, what I know is that the last corner was much better for Sean Purcell than for Alex Torgrosa, as we see a wider line through the loop, but seems to take it too wide and actually loses some time. So to answer your question now, as there won't be any fights at this moment, well, I don't know. I never did a race in Formula 3 where I was supposed to actually take fuel on board. So I can't say. The only thing I can say is that we are not definitely. These cars cannot make it to the end in 1 hour. So. Oh, that's a big moment. Sorry, by Sean Purcell into Chapel or Cops.
That was Cops.
I still can't get it.
That was Cops.
I'm sorry. I'm trying, Brits. Come on, don't judge me for this. But nothing's over yet. Sean Purcell seems to be aggressive now on Daniel Fernandez. After that big moment, he goes inside. He attacks into the Chapel. Does he actually attack? No, he doesn't at this moment. But sticking close and planting a move through the club can actually make him regain that P2. Will we see that happen? No, not as of yet. So what Sean Purcell now needs to do, he needs to cool down his tires and well, sort of start bringing the car home. Not in the way of driving slowly, but just stick to this group and wait for the pit stop. Then after the pit stop, the fight will open back.
Yep.
You know, this isn't
we
over. We have to wait for this to happen.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Tim Eintema seems to have had a mistake through Sector 2 and is now 10 seconds behind Denis Yuzhnic. It's really not nice to see what's happening at this moment, but I'm sure he can fight back, at least with consistency, and then we will see some strategy come into play. Currently we have Ben Blakemore out of the race due to a retirement. We have Kit 462 disconnected, so only 9 drivers as of yet. Currently the last place driver is Sam Butters, who is running 2 laps down on everyone. We have Sarv on a bad lap, perhaps has made pit stop actually, 20 seconds down on him.
Really
down
now?
On his best, so yeah, probably it was a pit stop.
Pit stops because his
last lap was also 30 seconds slower, so it seems that he made the stop for tires, fuel, whatever it is. So what compound is he on? He's on hard compounds, so I believe this is the same he started the race on, which means that he didn't change tires, he just topped the tank up and went back on track.
So
which is also a good call.
I was going to say, for what it's worth, that means that we have had the first of the strategy calls made. That is the first of the cards played as far as the strategy is concerned. And as we look to where is okay, so the leaders are coming up to lap Sarv now. It looks
really?
like
this is something you don't want to happen on your pit stop.
No, no, absolutely. And it's something that you need to worry about as well. I don't think they need to worry about it per se, other than these top three.
Yeah, but it's still lost time, and you have to worry about if any incidents occur. But let's cut back to Sean Purcell and Daniel Fernandez. They're coming closer and closer. The gap is tightening, but it seems that Sean Purcell didn't have as good run through Cops as... Did I get it right this time? Is it Cops? Tell me it's Cops.
Cops is the first one, then Maggots and Beckett's is this long winding.
Yeah. I'm improving. You're
getting
this
there.
Is good.
It's all good, yeah. It's okay. What you'll have to do is you'll have to come into the box with me for the next 6-hour endurance. Then you'll know every corner of every track.
Oh, Sean Purcell dives into the pits. So this is the first real strategy call. Let me say this. So he is going in on medium compound. Let's see if he swaps tires or if he just goes for a fuel upload and back out. So this is a really short pit stop. I doubt there was a tire change, so
I doubt there was any fuel that went in there.
Perhaps just enough to make it to the end.
Yeah.
Perhaps, yeah.
So now, again, this is a really interesting strategy call. So now we know Purcell was running heavy come the start of the race. And he's going to make those medium tyres last until the end of the race. That is a whole 60 minutes on a single set of medium... Actually, they look like hards. They're white wall, I think.
It's a medium. No, it's not... I think it's livery based, to be honest with you.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure, but I will have to check. Meanwhile, I think it was a good call because the top three were reaching Sarv. So even if Sarv is obliged to move out of the way, it still consumes some time.
Yeah.
Both for Sarv and for the top three. So I think it was a really, really good call as Daniel Fernandez made his way past Sarv only come the end of Sector 1. So this seems to be a perfectly executed pit stop. But let's see where does it bring him.
It brings him out 3 seconds in arrears of Tim Einzmer. But here's the real question is, are we going to see this leading pair react to that? It's not happening yet.
Not yet, yeah.
There is obviously...
Don't forget that they can actually pit at the same time.
Oh,
they
absolutely.
Don't share the pit box, so they can actually go whenever they want. They can go together if they want. So
yeah, absolutely. But that's the thing is, do they feel threatened by this, or are they going to relish the clear air to be able to push to make some gap so that when they do pit, and Fernandez has it looked like a bit of a drift he got on there from the other side.
It's just a show off.
Right.
Dennis Jurnic into the pits, so he clears the air for Sean Purcell to swoop past. So
yeah, Einzmer and Allen both into the pits as well.
Yeah.
So again, at the midpoint is where you want to is kind of where you want to be pitting, but the longer you can go in this race before you have to abandon to the pits, the lighter your fuel load will be from here on out, basically. And that's very careful. It's got to be very careful for these two now that they don't run themselves into a corner, and we will need to keep an eye on that gap between Purcell and the leading two. Be very easy for them to get complacent now, with a 22-second lead over the rest of the field, and that's what they will see. That's what they will see on their split timers. They'll see 22 seconds.
Let's see what happens when Sean Purcell goes through the measurement line. So he's now in clean air. Can he improve his time? Can he go faster than what he has already done? Of course, he will be missing the toe on the straights, but he will also be missing the turbulence in corners. This is like a self-balancing stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lost for words.
No, you're fine.
Long work day, long. And anyhow, you have toe on the straight, but you also have turbulence in the corners. This is a mix.
Yeah.
So most likely you will actually gain time in clean air, actually. But let's see, as Sean Purcell does a 46.0, not really impressive. But
How were
Daniel
they?
Fernandez is on a purple sector 1 at this moment, 28.7,
Wow.
while Alex Rosa and Sean Purcell are doing 29.0. Is Daniel Fernandez on a rise here? So, best lap time is faster than Alex Rosa. Of course, he had that big moment which let Sean Purcell go through. But can he challenge Alex Rosa maybe? We know that these two love to fight each other, and they are in a position to fight each other. So
Yeah.
This can be opening a Pandora box
Yes,
at this
absolutely.
moment.
I say,
So they're matched in Sector 2 at this moment. Sam Butters goes really slowly through
it looks like
Chapel?
through Stowe.
Stowe.
It looks
Okay.
like, and now this is
He was letting Mislav Bago through.
yeah. This is where they're going to really start having issues. That's two cars that they're now looking at that they need to lap. And yes, they as you say, they may have to jump out of the way, and that the drivers may well do that. We have a very respectful grid here, but at the same time, you're still going to lose time just in that uncertainty of where are they going to let you pass, when are they going to let you pass, how close are they going to let you get before you make that pass. And again, just the prospect of that Fernandez locks up coming into Village hairpin. And on the way back out again.
Goes through the line, so he does a 46.3, Alex Torgos a 46.2, Daniel Fernandez 146.0. Currently, Sean Purcell is the slowest of the top three, but as you already mentioned, Alex Torgos and Daniel Fernandez are hitting traffic now. First of all, they have Sam Butters, and what you didn't mention is the risk of a lap-in driver doing something unpredictable.
Yes.
For example, not moving when you want them to, or perhaps even braking on the racing line, which can occur during basically when they see you on short notice. Some drivers really tend to panic, yeah, and they tend to just smash the brake.
Yep.
It seems that Sam Butters is fighting Alex Rosa. Alex Rosa goes wide out of the brackets.
Oh
there
no!
is Daniel Fernandez challenging for the lead of this race after that incident. Daniel Fernandez is on the inside brakes later. Sam Butters moves out of the way, and that's Daniel Fernandez into the lead of the British Grand Prix. Alex Torgosa dives into the pits, and let's see what happens with him.
So
can he stay ahead? Can he go out behind or in front of Sean Purcell? Now, he had this mistake, and Daniel Fernandez last lap lost nearly 2 seconds because of this. Yeah. So Sean Purcell going through the pit entry as Alex Torgosa is still in the pits, moving just now, still on the hard tire. I assume a short stop. That's Sean Purcell going through the last corner over the start-finish straight. Let's see where Alex Torgosa is diving out of the pits. Sean Purcell is going through turn 1. This is going to be on the edge. It seems that Alex Torgosa is actually ahead, but Sean Purcell has a late break. They're going side by side through the village and into the loop. Sean Purcell keeps the inside. Now, leaving us onto the Wellington Straight, it seems that Alex Torgosa had a better run. They're going side by side through this. Alex Torgosa is going a bit wider there. They're going now side by side. It's breaking into Brooklands, who Sets, who will be at P2, and Sean Purcell fends Alex Torgosa off and goes into P2. Wow, that was thread of a needle was separating the two. This was a great call by Sean Purcell, and let's not forget that if he keeps this pace up, he will probably stay ahead of Daniel Fernandez. Daniel Fernandez is now coming to the end of the back straight. Of the hangar straight. Let's see if he dives into the pits now, or does he stay on. The important thing about pit stops, so he goes in. The important thing about a pit stop is that it's a good occasion to cool down your tires.
Yeah.
So if you had a fight, if you had tires cooked, you would actually dive into the pit, and by staying put, you would actually cool them down a bit. This is very good. Daniel Fernandez, oh, he misses his pit box. He goes
no.
into reverse. That's a lot of time lost there, as Alex Torgrosa and Sean Purcell are going through the last corner onto the start-finish straight. They are most likely to be ahead of Daniel Fernandez. He's going out of the pits. He is releasing the pit limiter and goes out of the track, but Sean Purcell and Alex Torgrosa are well past him. So Sean Purcell into the lead, confirmed for the British Grand Prix. That's an amazing chain of events that's going on, and I hope that nothing's over yet, because we see Alex Torgrosa is really close behind Sean Purcell.
This is going to be a battle that is going to lead until the end of the race. Unfortunately for Purcell, he has the better setup for this long race that they're running here. But Torgrosa is running a lower downforce, which means that the only place where he really can't defend is on the straights, which is where Torgrosa is going to be strongest. It doesn't matter how fast his apex speed is here at Stowe, which it is enormous. As the gap opens up as they get onto the straight, it doesn't matter how fast he is through Maggots and Beckett's. The fact of the matter is that with the toe from Purcell and with the low downforce that Torgrosa's running, he's going to run wide, however, for the second time tonight. And that might actually break the toe. That might actually do it. And it's going to be... now it's going to be on the... on Fernandez now to catch his teammate and see if they can work together to catch Purcell. Purcell must be absolutely screaming in his cockpit right now. I wouldn't like to drag him into Discord right now, because I'm sure he would just scream at us to leave him alone. But this has feelings of Eddie Irvine in the Ferrari at Silverstone. The Irish driver overcoming the odds to take the lead of the race. I need to answer that question now. One moment.
I'm sorry, what question? I had an internet break for a few seconds.
Oh no, you're fine.
There. I heard you mention Eddie Irvine.
Yeah, I'm sure he won the
really
British Grand Prix.
Nice reference.
I
think he did, yeah. But who will win this British Grand Prix? We don't have a single clue.
I was right.
Have a single clue, because Alex Torgrosa is now purple in Sector 1, 28.6 compared to 28.8 of Sean Purcell and Daniel Fernandez. Daniel Fernandez is now 4 seconds behind them, so that three-way turn in the pits was definitely not what you wanted when you're challenging for the win. But we know that Daniel Fernandez, well,
Fernandez goes wide again. It looks like Fernandez is having some internet troubles. Hang on, let me jump on board with him. There we go. It looks to me as though he's having some trouble connecting to the server. It's just the slightest hint of network lag, and the reason why I say that is because it's not the biggest thing, but especially when it's your connection to the server, sometimes it just gives you a tiniest bit of a hint, like the tiniest hesitation. And as you can see at the moment, the slightest hesitation is not what any of these top 3 drivers need. And that could explain his sudden lack of confidence, just that tiniest bit of interference between himself and the car.
As Alex Torgrosa did his fastest lap, 1:45.696. Still not the fastest lap, but
his fastest.
His fastest, yeah, personal fastest lap, definitely. Now, I think sooner or later, Sean's medium compound tires will start to play a role in this, because both Spaniards have hard compounds, and I'm honestly worried about Sean. Will he actually make it to the end with medium tires?
Maybe
a pretty much used term is there's only one way to find out.
Yeah.
And I hope that we will find out, but it's a 15 long minutes of Sean Purcell looking in the mirror to Alex Grossa. It's a long 15 minutes of Alex Grossa looking at Sean Purcell ahead of him. Meanwhile, Daniel Fernandez is set for another amazing lap time. He does purple sector 1 and sector 2 as he is 2/10 off, so we are looking forward to low 145. Let's see as he goes through the last corner full throttle towards the apex. Alex Grossa goes fastest 145.551 for him, 145.264 for Daniel Fernandez. He's half a second up on Sean Purcell and will eventually start to gain to Alex Grossa. So the gap is narrowing, the belt is tightening. Who is the one to take the edge of all three of them? If I had to place money, I wouldn't know what to do at this moment.
No, at the moment I have no idea what I would do. My money on out and out pace is on Fernandez, because all it requires is for these two to be slightly off, and Fernandez has definitely proven his pace through this race. He's got something hooked up in the car that Toro Rosso just can't quite match today, whether it's the track or whether it's the particular day that we happen to be on today. Toro Rosso is there, but he's not all the way there, whereas Fernandez, you can see him as he comes through. There we go. As he comes through Maggots and Beckett's, he's just got it hooked up in a way that is just so different to the way Toro Rosso seems to be fighting the car.
Yeah, definitely one can see different setups of these cars through Maggots and Beckett's, and this is where you would actually see how cars perform. It's like, if you know Formula 1 winter testing, they always base expectations on a car based on turn 3, that's a long right-hander, so seeing the line of that car turn through turn 3 can actually show you how it's being set up and is it any good. Now this is the case for Silverstone and Maggots and Beckett's. You can see that Spaniards in cars 30 and that's a big moment by Alex Grossa. That is not what you want to be doing in a fight for the win. But time to regroup for Sean Purcell.
Yep.
And he will cut through traffic alone, which is good for him and good for Sarv, who is currently up the road of him. So what I was talking is that you can see how cars are being set up by the lines through Maggots and Beckett's. You can definitely see Sean Purcell is taking less apex and relying more on aero. If you select this camera, you can actually see all the motion. You can see the Spaniards are taking apexes on both Maggots and Beckett's. They're going pretty wild with them, while Sean Purcell is mostly relying on tarmac, and you cannot actually see who's right here.
No, it's not.
I mean, I would say the Spaniards are equipped with low downforce to have that extra straight line speed, and that really prompts them to have these straighter lines through the famous S's of the Silverstone. But I cannot judge. Maybe it's just a driver preferential.
Yeah, it could either be that, or it could be the cars being set up softer, which would generate less downforce than if they had a stiffer setup. But maybe they're relying on the fact that they want to be able to, for want of a better expression, cut those corners off and slice those edges off of corners, and that's how they want to make their time. There's options here as Sarv not quite getting out of the way of the race leader, finally giving way, but now he's gonna know that he's being lapped. I assume he would have been getting blue flags.
Yeah, he's probably
Okay.
getting them, but it's always about finding a good place to be expected by other drivers,
Yeah.
and a good place to not ruin your lap time. So what Sarv did here was quite okay by my standards. Not sure about what other drivers think. It's a bit controversial because when you wave a blue flag to someone, you just expect them to move straight out of your way.
Yeah.
And this is not the case with Sarv and Sean Purcell. But he has placed his car very good. Now I believe he will step aside for Alex Rosa right now, or coming into the last left-hander.
Yeah.
So not now, but does he
Pulls the
move?
inside. No. No.
No, he doesn't. So this is a bit.
Oh no! Here we go.
This is a bit controversial.
Yep.
Yeah, this is definitely not what you want to be doing if you're a lap down. This is actually interfering in a fight.
Yep.
With Sean Purcell and Alex Rosa. Of course, you don't want to be lapped, but when you're lapped, especially when the cars that are lapping you are in a fight, you don't want to be that guy who is involved in controversies.
Well, this lead battle has already been interfered with by lapping cars, so for it to be even more heavily influenced would, I'm sure, take away from the enjoyment of the top three right here. I'm sure Purcell is, in a way, unhappy that Toro Grosso made that mistake in the on the exit of the loop hairpin, and has given him that space, because I don't know about you, but I'm sure Sean is relishing the fight as opposed to wanting the win necessarily.
Yeah, well, I can't really take a pick on this one, but
Yeah.
what I can say is, that's a big moment by Daniel Fernandez into Beckett's, and he nearly saved the car, but then he overslowed it to regain control, and that's probably him out of the fight for the win.
That's a shame.
Yeah, that really is a shame, but Sean Purcell is not giving in. His lap times are pretty good, given how these tires are worn at this moment. He's actually doing his best lap, seems so. Yeah, 145.589. Alex Grosso goes 145.551. So this is gap less than 4/100ths of a second.
Yeah.
And this is minimal, but can anyone stop Sean Purcell from taking the win? I hope not.
I am saying nothing. I am not cursing him. I'm not being responsible for that at all. What I will say, however, is that Toro Grosso has now been given a lot of free air, and actually, was Fernandez? I was checking something else. Was Fernandez incident related to Sarv? Or
they were close at the time of the incident.
Yeah,
I hope not. I think not, but I cannot say 100% that it's not.
No, I don't think it was.
It's not correlated.
I don't think it was directly involved, or maybe it was having what was left of the downforce taking off his front wing that unsettled the car, being in that traffic. And again, this is the problem. This is the problem, is that Fernandez was a little bit spoiled through the midsection of the race, having some clear air to be able to run some laps and get used to his pace, and now suddenly he was back underneath the wing of his teammate, and then under the wing of Purcell, and then under the wing of Sarv. It may have just been that little bit of draft that he wasn't expecting in a place where he wasn't expecting, that threw the balance of the car off and ended up in, again, another fantastic piece of car control from Fernandez, but that's not the kind of thing that you want to see from your setup, as Toro Grosso goes quickest for him with a 145.4, and there are squeals off to the right hand side. Whether that was just some understeer, yeah, that may have just been some understeer under braking. That's absolutely fine. It looks like Mislav is the next target for their leader to attack as we get to 6 minutes remaining. Where has this hour gone?
It's a bit less than 6 minutes, so I believe this lap and another 3 laps we will be looking until we wave the jacker.
Yep.
The top 3 currently are Sean Purcell, Alex Rosa, Daniel Fernandez. They're matching their lap times, so we are actually waiting for a mistake to trigger a fight, but we hope we actually don't see this for the sake of enjoyment. So top 3 drivers currently are matched in Sector 1. We are waiting for Sector 2 results, but overall small fluctuations are closing in and broadening the gap. So at this moment Sector 2 is matched for top 3, so they are all in nearly same lap times, and it's great to see this consistency. This is not an endurance race. Well, it is compared to other Formula 3 races,
Yeah.
It is, but it's not an endurance race. However, we see endurance driving here, and this is amazing to see. The gaps are just there.
Yeah, you need to employ Purcell for the next ACC race. That's what you need to do.
Yeah, however, Alex Torgrosa goes faster through Sector 3, and he does a lap time 145.371 compared to Sean Purcell doing a 145.739. This is a 4/10 gap, and the gap is closing currently at 1.2 seconds between the top 2 as they are approaching Mislav Bago. I really hope Mislav moves out of the way pretty swiftly and actually lets both through at the same time so that he doesn't interfere in a fight.
Absolutely.
Meanwhile, Alex Torgrosa quickest through Sector 1. He's pushing for the fastest lap. He wants to catch Sean Purcell, as we will have another 2 laps after this one ends. So we are coming through Maggots and Beckets for one of the last times throughout this race. Mislav Bago, as in P7, is leading Sean Purcell in P1 and Alex Torgrosa in P2. They're coming really close to him. Some toe is being gained by Sean Purcell and Alex Torgrosa, as Sean Purcell loses 4/10 Sector 2, and the gap is really tightening. Didn't expect this performance of drivers with blue flags, so they are now effectively interfering in a fight, and I'm sure Sean Purcell will have an opinion on this. I'm pretty sure, as he lost half a second in this lap, and now the gap to Alex Torgrosa is minimal.
3/10 across the line.
3/10,
and here we go. This is your fight for the lead as Torgrosa goes wide and opens up the gap. Just again getting into the draft of Purcell. This is the first time he's been in under the rear wing of Purcell for quite a few laps now. But with Mislav not being able to get out of the way, let's be fair. Purcell did come across Mislav in the S's over the other side of the track, so it wasn't really possible. And this is where Purcell is going to be weak in a straight line. Has no wing to be able to. Has too much wing to be able to defend in a straight line, but this is where he's going to be more popular with his tyres, being able to put the throttle down much quicker and easier. But the message has been sent by Torgrosa. He wants that first place. The 7 just jumps off the racing line slightly to go defensive. Through Stowe, he's going to have the advantage with the slightly higher wing angle, and that gap increases for just the briefest of seconds. Through the S's of Maggots and Beckets now, as the gap remains fairly stagnant, but on the exit here is where the Spaniard gets a little wiggle on, and that gap just widens enough to give Purcell a breather yet again. This is going to go down to the wire. Don't think that this is by any means over.
And we are coming through this set of corners for the penultimate time, so we are starting the last lap in 2 corners, so this is the last chance for Alex Torgrosa to actually challenge for the win. Ascend in P1 or ascend in after Wellington. Let's see now. So seems that both are having a good run through turn 1. I'm sorry, I meant turn 3 for the late launch. At the moment, no, Alexander Grossa stays put, so he's definitely planning a move on Wellington Strait. So Sean Purcell really needs to defend this one right now.
As he gets
that's
a poor
slow
exit. Oh no!
Slow exit. No.
Around the outside, it looks like Toro Grosso is trying to go. Purcell is in the middle of the road. Very fair and respectful driving from both of them, as Purcell leaves a car's width on the outside, but has the inside line for Brooklands up towards Luffield now. Now the Spaniard has the inside. Can Purcell cut back?
I hope he does. I hope this goes down to the wire. No, he has a moment of oversteer and a lock, possibly braking just to get the car back in control. So this is a race lost for Sean Purcell in the last lap. I cannot believe this. Very well done to Alex Torregrossa. So he just needs to complete Sector 2 and Sector 3 to finish this race and take another win home to Spain. Sean Purcell, I cannot say he did anything wrong here. I think it was just a wrong bet on tires, and that's it. Because
I think it's even worse.
I believe these tires are worn like hell by now. So
I think it was even worse than that. I think that was one gear. I think that was a gear mishap, honestly, coming out of the loop hairpin, and so he's jumped to the middle of the road to try and defend the position, got into the right gear, got the car going again, but that was all the damage that there needed to be as Purcell comes across the line. Torregrossa, an absolutely storming victory, opportunistic and almost bordering on perfectionistic there. That was a superb drive. In fairness, a superb drive from both as they sit side by side for a second. Your first and second drivers, Fernandez will come across the line in third. Yuznik comes across the line backwards in fourth, apparently. That's interesting. I want to know how he did that.
That's controversial.
Miroslav Sav is going to come across the line in eighth. And Butters now comes across the line 2 laps down, but will take home points because he kept going, because despite being beached and having to get recovered to the pits, he will take those 2 points, I would suggest, in ninth as Alan comes across the line. So your finishing order, as we can show that, is, there we go. Alex Torregrossa will come home in first position. Sean Purcell in second. Danny Fernandez will come home in third. Fourth will be Dennis Junzik. Tim Eintemer will come home in lowly fifth. Clive Allen in sixth. Mislav Bargo in seventh. Sav in eighth. And Butters in ninth, with Blakemore getting a DNF, unfortunately. Baćo, how on earth do we sum up a race like that? There was drama from start to finish. The Spanish duo, who have been dominating the championship so far and have had such massive, massive pace, really hadn't quite had the rule of the roost as they have in previous races. As we jump to the overlay, first in straight into the ready to interview room, we bring Sean Purcell. Oh my goodness, mate, what I have no words, honestly. Congratulations first of all for that second position. You really brought it to the Spanish duo. Tell us what you have to tell us first. I think you're using the wrong mic. I can barely hear you.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Okay.
There we go, that's better.
So, yeah, that was great fun. To lose it on the last lap is tough, but the two Spaniards, Alex and Daniel, are just so fast and so consistent. There wasn't much I could do to hold them off on fresher tyres.
No, absolutely. But you did they actually change tyres in that pit stop then?
I'm not sure.
I don't think they did. I don't think,
but no. They did. They went on hard tires. So, Sean, my question to you: what happened in the end? Was it your medium tires dropping off? Was it a wrong bet? on tires, or was it just a mistake?
Yeah, at the end of the race, like my tires were just so far gone from holding off them earlier on the stint, and then having to get Sarv as well halfway through. He did a great job of letting us by himself, but yeah, they were just so far gone, and then led me to make the little mistake. And I tried parking it on the apex, but Alex just found the way around the outside.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was that a mistake on turn in as opposed to exit? Because we the camera angles aren't great through that village section, so it looked fine on entry. It was just on the way out that the lack of speed was showing.
So through that section throughout the whole race, and when I was practicing during the week as well, hard tires are much quicker through that section, which Alex was on, and I knew for a fact that if I didn't try and do something, he would have got me on the exit because he was gaining 3 or 4 tenths a lap. So I had made the little mistake under braking on the way in, so I tried slowing him up on the exit of the corner, but he found the way by.
I see. I've used that trick a few times, but you led for a massive portion of the race, and took it in some style as well, doing it the hard way on track, and through the pit stops as well. Some fantastic strategy. Did you pit early to try and get that undercut to get some clear air?
Yeah, spot on. I knew that if I could come in and put in some consistent outlaps, then I'd have a chance of getting by them. And I was shocked when I didn't see them follow me in a lap or two later.
So was I.
Yeah, I think they had heavy fuel at the start of the race, which is why I had the pace over them. So their pit stop was shorter, but I just couldn't do anything in the end.
No, absolutely. Nonetheless, congratulations on second place. We were glued to your car the entire race. So almost unfair for the other racers, really. You really have shown what's possible with these Formula 3 cars, and utmost respectful driving, utmost professionalism, and above all, bloody quick.
Thanks very much. That means the world.
All three of you were absolutely rapid the entire race. There was tenths between you every single lap. It was a joy to watch, and it was even more of a joy to commentate over. So thank you very much.
Thanks very much. Can't wait for next week.
And Sean, before you go, I apologize you publicly for calling you a Brit. So
it's all good. Don't worry. It didn't go down well with my family, but it's grand.
No,
I said it more than one time, so I hope I lost for words. Sorry.
All good. Don't worry about
Happens.
that's brilliant. It's all fixed now anyway. But
I hope I paid back my due.
You did, thanks.
I'll be fair, I think Sean's paid it back with that second place. Thank you very much for dropping in, Sean. Brilliant to speak to you, and congratulations on that race. Hopefully it'll be great to see you out next week.
No problem. See you next week.
And what we'll do next is we will grab Alex Torregrossa, the surprise winner of the 60-minute race tonight. Alex, firstly, congratulations. Secondly, were you expecting that?
Well, kind of. Like on the first day we were playing games. To be honest, we were just making laps to make a gap between the first three cars and the rest of the field. And when I wanted to stop on the lap, I got caught with a slow guy, a lapper, and I thought it was done for me. And moreover, on the second stint, I couldn't get temperature on my tires on the first laps, so it was so hard to keep the pace of Simpercell. And I did a mistake, and at the moment I thought, oh, it's over. But then I thought, okay, he's on the mediums, just wait, focus, do your pace, and you will eventually caught him. And it was all about making that overtake, and I think my low aero setup actually helped to make my that move.
Yes, absolutely. Having that straight line advantage. I mean, it was what got you alongside him along. What's it called? Not Wellington Straight, Hangar Straight. It's what got you alongside him coming down in towards Stowe. You wouldn't have had anywhere near the advantage if you... and that's where you started putting the pressure on him, and that's probably where you ended up making the mistake.
That's what I did. So it was just that's why I said at the start I wasn't expecting that. I guess I could actually take the win more easily, but I did a mistake. I need to.
He needs to go, apparently. Is that all we're getting from Trigrosa?
Yeah, that's all right. No, that's all. I mean, I think it was just a matter of who did the last mistakes and a little bit of lucky on the traffic. That's all.
Yeah, traffic played a big role in the race tonight. Looked like you had some trouble getting past some of the traffic. Is that? Do you have any opinion on that, or do you think it was just the drivers? You thought it was okay?
It was okay, but it's funny because I need to say this. The mentality, like there's someone thinking when he's getting lapped. I need to do the corner faster. No, don't do that corner faster. Do it at your pace, because I think it was a couple of times when I was behind a lapper, they did the mistake, so it was even slower. So it's worse for both. So aside from that, it was all. I mean, it's traffic. There's nothing they can do if I caught them on a corner.
Yeah, absolutely. No. So the message from your race winner tonight: stick to your line, stick to your pace, and try and make yourself as safe as possible, not as fast as possible.
Yep.
Brilliant. Great closing message. Thank you very much for that, mate. Any questions, Bailey?
No, just good advice. Thank you for that, and congrats for the win.
Yeah.
In the last lap. Wow.
Yeah. Yep. No, that was perfectly timed, perfectly executed for the win as well. You could not have made that any better.
Yeah.
Perfect. Have a lovely evening, mate, and we'll see you next time out.
Yeah. See ya.
Brilliant. So next through, I'll tell you what, we'll jump. Sav is jumped in the ready to interview room, but he is currently muted. Sav, mate, a bit of an interesting race for yourself. Turn 1 especially. Talk us through how that was from your eyes.
Yeah, that was a very interesting race. I was very much looking forward to seeing how the race played out tonight, especially after qualifying. P4, I think the quali went quite well, but obviously one of the disadvantages of starting at the front of the grid, I guess, is potentially being taken in any sort of incident on lap 1. And unfortunately, that's exactly what happened. I was trying to avoid the cars in front. Everybody was trying to be very safe from what I saw. And as a result, I didn't want to cause too much harm. And as a result, I lifted a little bit, and it seems like the driver behind me didn't react in time, and I got hit in the rear. Still have to look at the replay and see how it plays out. I don't think it's anything sketchy or anything like that. It's purely a racing incident, in my opinion. But yeah, gutted that did happen, because that did put me behind the very back of the grid for the whole race. And then I had to kind of work my way up. And then the second problem I kind of faced in the middle of the race, right before pitting, is I struggled with the mediums. The mediums were extremely worn after my first stint, and I actually had a little spin in the middle of the track with them. They were getting really hot, and the tire wear just got to me a little bit. So apart from that, the race was pretty good. After pitting for the hards fared a lot better than the mediums for sure. And then I was kind of stuck in the front pack as a back marker. But yeah, lesson learned. Hopefully it's going to be better next time out in Vallelunga.
Oh, that's going to be a ridiculous race, that is. I remember last season being non-stop. Oh man, but a bit of a race to learn from, and be able to look forward to the next race out.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm actually very surprised by how close the top 3 were this race. They were from what I could see, at least, they were in a pretty big train at the very front. So very happy to see that the competition is kind of starting to take place, and I think the championship fight is going to get a lot tighter from here on.
Hopefully. Well, any questions, Melly? Sorry.
Yeah, no questions actually. Just a commiseration on turn 1 incident,
Yeah.
and yeah, well, hope it gets better for the next race.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Caution into turn 1 is always a very difficult balancing act. You don't want to lose time and you don't want to lose places, but at the same time, you don't want to be taking other competitors out, especially like some of the coordinators, the people who are like organising this and putting the time in for you. It's something you've got to really try hard to balance, and now that I'm actually driving in the GT3 leagues, it's becoming really obvious how difficult that is to strike that balance. But congratulations to at least finishing that endurance race. It probably felt like for you, Sav.
Yeah, definitely. That was a little bit hectic. Not gonna lie, I'm kind of sweating sitting here.
Yeah.
I made a mistake not opening up the windows. Didn't realize how hot it was gonna get inside, and just how stressful the race was. You know, even being alone for most of the race, trying to keep up the pace and being a little bit more consistent was still pretty tricky with this car. So yeah, better. Very, very glad that I was able to finish the race at least. So hopefully I can be better out next time.
Lovely. I'll leave you in here, Sav, but we'll turn our attention to the last driver who wants to come and talk to us, who is Tim Eintema, who had I'm not going to say a mediocre race. Talk us through your race, Tim.
It was kind of a mediocre race. I was getting really into a battle with Dennis Yusnik,
Yep.
I think he's called.
Yusnik, yeah.
And, like I kept on closing him in, and or actually at first I was in front of him, of course, and I kept kept him behind me fairly nicely, and I kept on driving away from him, and then in certain sectors, like I think it was sector 1 mostly, and then in sector 2 and 3 he managed to keep on clawing back the time I gained, and then at some point I just made a mistake. The rear end just started sliding a little bit in the first turn, so I decided to just steer into the slide and go off track. And at that point I was like, yeah, he deserves the position. So and I couldn't really like go onto the track too hot, of course.
Of course.
So then he got the position, and then after that it kept on going the same way up until pretty much when I made a larger mistake that just lost me like 10 seconds. We kept on closing each other in, and then falling away again.
Ouch.
And he once made the same mistake as I did, and then he did it a second time, and the second time I actually managed to get him. And then my I don't know exactly what happened, but my rear end just started sliding in one of the corners, and that lost me those 10 seconds.
Yep.
After that, I had lost him. I was still trying to push, but I kept on making way too many mistakes, and then at some point I decided to just go slowly.
Yeah. Just run to a pace rather than just get to the end, take the points that you can get, and reset for the next time out.
Yeah, I think if I had kept on pushing, I think Sean behind me would have, or was it Sean? No, I think it was Alan.
Yeah, it was Alan, I
caught
think.
me.
Yeah,
I would have takes again and again. So, but I didn't do enough practice on my on the hard tires, which I chose for the race, and and then they were like too cold a little bit, and like dropping the pressures one by one would have probably fixed that a little bit. And I also after the last 10 minutes I started to get a headache as well, so that really sucked.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so a mediocre race for a number of reasons. That really sucks, Tim.
Yeah, but I had to get the points, and it was pretty intense to keep on closing him down like I was.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is that this was just one race, so it's one set of points as opposed to the double headers that we've had previously. So of all the nights to have a mediocre one, this isn't terrible.
No, it definitely isn't. And I was also happy to have a clean race again, because that's always nice. And I hope the rest is as well. I think there was at least one incident into the first corner, but that was I wasn't involved this time, I guess. So
Yeah, that was Sav
was
involved this time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Always the same guys, right?
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Anyway.
So Tim, just a short one before you go. We didn't ask this anyone, so let's ask a well-seasoned Formula 3 driver. What was the best strategy call for tonight? Was it swap tires? Was it go full with fuel, then just sip the additional you need? Or was it go 50-50 with the fuel and so, all sorts of stuff?
I think pretty much everybody, as far as I could tell, did at least one pit stop somewhere in the middle, and I think that was just right because the tires would start to go off after half an hour, and running with like I don't know, maybe 80 liters of fuel probably wouldn't have worked that well. I was running with too much fuel as well. I put 60 liters in for the first stint, which already was too much, and then I added 55 in the pit stop, which was kind of stupid, but at least I got to the end, so I guess there's that.
Yeah, there's too much. The only time that you have too much fuel is when you're on fire.
Yeah, I
That is
guess
very
so.
true.
I mean, that's pretty difficult while being in a sim
absolutely.
race. But one guy could have maybe pulled it off because he was talking before the race about electricians talking about fire hazard in his building or something like that.
Oh yeah, I can't remember who that was now.
That was Danny Cheecham from Tier 2.
Ah, that was it. Okay, but yeah, no, it's, as I say, the only time you have too much fuel is when you're on fire. Otherwise, the worst that it is a little bit too much weight. But
Yeah,
at least, as you say, you got to the end. You get to take home the points.
absolutely.
For a bad day at the office, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it is still fifth. Like, usually I don't expect to be this high up in a league race, especially right before the races. I don't feel like I have that much pace, but to still come home fifth, that's just pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. As I say, for a bad day at the office, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Right, you have a lovely evening, Tim. Thank you for dropping in, and thank you for giving us some fantastic entertainment. I hope you have a lovely evening, and see you next time out.
Absolutely. You guys have a nice evening too.
See ya.
Take care.
Thank you, Tim.
So, from the coordinators of the league, any closing comments from this evening?
Well, we are definitely leaving these cold areas and going back south to Italy. May I announce the next race of Vallelunga. Now you remember this hectic track for Formula 3, and it's a lovely experience. I really loved every single race I had there, and I'm sure I will love to broadcast this one for the first time.
You'll enjoy
we're-
broadcasting more than racing, believe me.
Yeah, so I hope to see you again. Now, what really is a highlight from me in this race is strategy. Now, when we compare lap times in quali and lap times in race, you can actually see that while not being the fastest, are actually even the slowest of the three, Sean Purcell has made a good charge to take the leading spot of the Grand Prix, effectively taking, well, I believe, 0 mistakes, or perhaps some slight ones, just to be overly consistent and smashing. And I'm really sorry he couldn't get that win, but it's a lesson to learn, and I would not go depressive about this if I was him. I would actually consider this a great win. So congratulations to, of course, Alex Tarabrusa for keeping a good fight, but also to Sean Purcell, who fought amazingly well and actually kept us on our feet until the very last corner.
Absolutely. Sarv, from a driver's seat in the race today, you think that was good? What you expect of the league?
I think yes. I think this track, Silverstone, is a highlight track for the Formula 3 series. It's a track that they've raced on in real life for many years, even back in the GP3 times. So the track is definitely one of my favorite tracks for sure. Driving it, Silverstone is just a fantastic flow of different types of corners. So I'm pretty glad to see that a lot of these drivers were extremely close on a track that's so long and has so many different types of corners in it, mixed with straights. And I definitely think that opening up the setup certainly allowed for the lap times to potentially decrease over the default, because the straights on this track, paired with the mid to longer corners compared to some of the other tracks out there on the calendar, I think it definitely allowed the competition to be a little bit tighter. With the setup being a little bit more open, so drivers were able to adjust the suspension, the aerodynamics of the car, and potentially make the car, be a little bit more forgiving on some parts of the track, which can be very useful around Silverstone.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited to see how Vallelunga is going to play out, because to a certain extent it's very similar. I know it's a odd comparison, but in terms of the type of corners on Vallelunga, it's typically a little bit more similar to the way Silverstone is kind of planned out. So I'm really excited to see how it's going to play out. Sectors 1 and 3 on Vallelunga are quite wide, so we can definitely see a lot of action and a lot of overtaking potentially there. And then Sector 2 in the very middle of the track is a lot tighter than Sectors 1 and 3. So it'll be interesting to see how drivers navigate themselves through Sector 2 being so tight. And I definitely think, just like today, I think patience is going to pay off, even for Vallelunga. Even if we have 2 rounds next week, I think patience and consistency is definitely going to pay off for any of the drivers next week.
Absolutely. And I think that's probably the best thing to close out on. A fantastic hour-long race that was not deprived of action in any way, shape or form. Much like the endurance race we had at the weekend, it goes to show, no matter the length, no matter the car, the AOR racers and the coordinators are absolutely committed to putting on the very best show that they possibly can. My name has been Eike Sky. I've been joined by Mally Baćo in the comm box tonight, and it's been a joy and a pleasure as always, and we will see you next time out at Vallelunga. Good night from me, and good night from Mally and Sarv.
Good night.
Good night, guys.